Seems to me that maybe it pretty much always means no. So don't tell me you might just let it go. And oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way. There's no one, no one likes to be let down.
Hey there friends, what's going on? This is David Potts with Song Notes, and today we're going to look at Flake by Jack Johnson. This is from 2001. Now this is one of the albums that I was the most into when I started learning guitar in college. So I probably learned most of the songs on this album back when I started. I had trouble with them. I couldn't strum like him. I had trouble with the bar chords, but I just wanted to play these songs so bad. So happy to teach this one. Rich, this one goes out to you. Thanks for the request, and thanks for posting this in my Song Notes community forum. I really appreciate it there, and hopefully my strumming instruction here will help and live up to your compliment, okay? So I'll start off teaching you how Jack Johnson plays it, the chord shapes he uses and the strumming pattern he uses, right? But a bit later, I'll show you some sort of easier, sort of secret stash kind of ways to play it as far as using easier chords. You can bring in a capo. I have a nice finger-picking strumming pattern I like to use. I'll show you that one as well if you want something a bit more low-key, because this song is a bit of a workout. It's all bar chords. It's a really kind of intense strumming pattern. So let's get into it though and see what we can do here about Flake by Jack Johnson. Okay, so this song is in the key of F. Let's really quick look at the chord shapes we're going to need. Difficult chords, they're all bar chords, but the great part is there's very few shapes, okay? So the F chord. Okay, that's our main chord we're going to need. This is our home bass chord, right? This is our 1. Now we're also going to need a B flat and a C. Now I'm using this same shape chord I'm using for the F major. I'm just sliding it up. I'm not really, sliding it. I'm not doing that. I just mean you take this shape and you move it up to fret 6, 7, 8 for the B flat and to frets 8, 9, 10 for the C, okay? So this is a B flat, this is a C, and this is an F, right? We're gonna be going between these a lot. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are saying, hey, you can play the B flat and the C a bit closer to the first fret. That's true. You can play the B flat here, right? 1, 3, 3, 3, and you can play the C here, 3, 5, 5, 5, okay? These are called A-shaped bar chords, right? Just they look just like the A major chord. We're just moving that shape up 1 fret for the B flat and to the 3rd and 5th frets for the C. Now, I'll leave it to you as far as when you use this B flat and when you use this B flat. It doesn't really make a difference. I've seen Jack Johnson kind of use both, but for a lot of the time, he is sort of preferring to go up here to the 6th and 8th fret, okay? A couple more you'll need. One's a D minor. This is the chord that starts the song, right? 5, 7, 7, 6, 5. It's just like a B minor, if you know that one, but it's a couple frets higher. And we're also gonna need an A major. But the great part is, we already know that shape. It's the same shape we're using for the F, and for the B flat, and for the C, right? The A major, though, is on frets 5, 6, and 7. So one other quick thing about these bar chords, you can simplify them in these 2 ways, right? Instead of barring all 6 strings all the time, which is just a workout and kind of exhausting to do, one trick is to only push down the thickest 4 strings, right? That's our F, and then sort of just lean your index finger into the thinnest couple strings so it doesn't make a sound, right? That's our F, here's our B flat, here's our C, and for the D minor, you can just play the middle 4 strings. Okay, I'm muting the thickest string and the thinnest string, okay? So basically that would let us play all the chords, but you're not barring all the time. And yet one more tip for the bar chords is you alternatively could just do the middle 4 strings of all those major shapes, right? Your F could look like this. Your B flat's up here. Your C's right here. So I'm doing no barring at all. Again, I introduced this as a way just to sort of give you some options. When you're playing this song, if things get tiring, it's okay to sneak in an F like this, right? And then even for the C, you could just do a regular open C chord if you need to save some muscle power, or a regular D minor as well, okay? So I wanted to make sure you're aware of those tricks. You don't need to be doing the full bar all the time. And a really quick note here as far as practical experience. When I was learning this song, I kind of had encountered the F chord before. It's one of those first really hard chords you run into. But this song taught me that, hey, you can play a B flat right here with the same shape, and a C right here with that same shape, and an A right here with that shape. And it made me realize, like, okay, if I know this note's an F, then that must mean that this note is a B flat, and this note's a C, and this note's an A. So basically, this song really helped me learn the fretboard, right? When I look at that sixth string, I sort of have, I know this is an F, I know this note's an F, this is a G, this is an A B flat, a C, and this is a D, and this is an E. So I just want to bring up how you take one shape, you can move it across the fretboard, and those shapes can help you just sort of learn and memorize what the different notes on the fretboard are, right? This sixth string note in this chord shape determines what the name of the chord is, right? B flat, C. Anyway, quick little theory corner there for you. So now we know the chord shapes. Let's really quick look at the progressions we're going to need, then I'll get into the strumming. So the intro and the verse are going to mainly use this one progression. There's one exception right before you go into the chorus, but this is a pretty straightforward progression that repeats, right? It's D minor, 2, 3, 4 to F, 2, 3, 4, B flat, 2, 3, back to F, 2, 3, 4. You repeat that, okay? A little bit of jumping around from 5th fret to 1st fret, then to 6th fret, and then back to 1st fret. And I'm saying fret meaning what my index finger is playing. I'm sort of using that as my sort of anchor. Now, as far as how would that sound in the verse if we were to sort of talk through the lyrics, right? I know she says it's all right. You can make it up next time. 2, 3, 4. And I know she thinks it's not right. 3, 4. There ain't no use in lying. Right? And you repeat that. The only time this changes is right before we go into the chorus. It's the same pattern, but the last chord, instead of going back down to the F to end it, we're actually going to end it with a C. Okay? In context, that sounds like this, right? Maybe she knows something I don't. I'm so tired. So tired of trying. And then we go to the F, okay? A bit of a music theory, just context there. This is our 1, this is our 4, and this is our 5. Okay, those are the major chords in any key. Now, the 5 chord is a dominant chord. It kind of always wants to go home. And when I say that, I mean the sound of the chord. It just means that it's setting itself up for that really nice resolve to go back to the 1. The 1 never sounds like home more than when you're coming from that 5, right? Especially the dominant 7th. And if you play the 5 chord and you make it a 7th, it just sort of adds to that resolve of coming back to the 1. So anyway, I bring that up to say the verse ends with that 5 chord, which is the C, and then we go to the 1 to start the chorus. Now, as far as the chorus progression goes, same chords. We're just going to bring in that A chord at one point, but it's really sort of easy to do in context, and you'll see why, right? So, F seems to me that maybe C to D minor, pretty much always to A, 2, 3 to B flat, 2, 3, 4 to C, 2, 3, and back to F. Then we go to C, 2, 3, 4, and oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way, 'cause no one likes to be let down. 2, 3, 4 to C, 2, 3, 4. Then we go back to D minor to start the next verse. So that's all we're going to need for the main part of this song. So now we know the verse and chorus and intro progression, and we know the chord shapes. So let's look at the strumming pattern. This is the thing that makes the song so fun to play. I've used the strumming pattern so much. You can hear this pattern across Jack Johnson's first album especially. He uses it in all kinds of songs. So what it's going to sound like is this when we put it all together. Okay, so how do we learn that? Again, I want to take you through it step by step because expecting you just to jump in and figure this out is going to be a big ask. But fortunately, if we do it step by step, it's a lot more manageable. Now, the first part in understanding this strumming pattern is understanding this idea of 16th notes. So what we're doing here is taking every 4-count measure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And instead of breaking it into 4 chunks like we've done, we're going to break each count into 4 chunks itself. So it's going to be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So I'm sort of just lightly holding the strings here. And with my pick, I'm doing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But all the down, ups are going to happen so that there's 4 strums, 1, 2, well, let's say it another way. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, right? It's like there's 4 parts of each quarter note. That's why we get 16th notes. The explanation might be tricky for you, but just understand that you want to get your right hand used to going down, up, 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 down, up. You could put on Flake by Jack Johnson. You could get your guitar, just mute all the strings, and you could sort of strum along. It would be a great exercise to do. You just want to get your right hand used to sort of having that speed and that down-up alternating, because we're going to be using a lot of those down-up strums. Not all of them, but we're going to be using a lot of them. And you just want to get this like an engine that's used to going, right? Even if you're not engaging with the strings, my right hand is still moving, right? It's like a car, when you're in neutral and you're revving the engine, it's kind of like this. Like it's not engaging with the strings, but when you put it into gear, let me play a chord, right? Playing random stuff there, but my point is get your hand used to that. That's a first important trick, because everything I show you next is going to kind of assume that you're able to sort of move your hand at that speed in a steady tempo. Okay, now as far as the strumming pattern itself, if we just looked at the direction that our pick's going to be moving when it hits the strings for the main strums, it's going to look like this, right? It's going to be a down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, right? And I have it written here with this sort of counting, if that helps, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Those E endas are really not natural for me to say out loud, but I just want to show you mathematically that's a direction things are going to be going. Now, if we were to use the sort of main verse and intro progression, this is not the full Jack Johnson strum yet, but this is what you would get so far. Okay, and so on and so forth. You could see my right hand kind of just keeping the motion there. But you'll notice it doesn't sound like Jack Johnson yet, and there's a couple things missing. The first thing that's missing is these percussive hits that are going to happen on the 2 count and on the 4 count, right? So 1 E and a 2 E and a 4, 4. Let me count that again. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Okay, so the idea here is to take that percussive hit. Now you could sort of practice this with your muted sort of strumming like this, right? So to get this sound, we're basically going to bring our hand down right before our pick hits, so that when our pick does hit and we sort of give it a nice sort of propulsion through the strings are all muted with the right hand. Now I have a whole separate video on this technique, but a good way to practice it is don't worry about chords yet. Just worry about light strumming. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. This is how I would recommend practicing it if I were you. If I had never learned this before, I would sort of suggest doing this, because you don't want to bring in chords just yet. You just want to worry about, you can do this all with your right hand. Your left hand doesn't even matter. I mean, you're going to notice the strings are kind of ringing out, but that's why I have it up here. You just want to get used to doing that. It's a really much of sort of a percussive groove-based thing. And when you combine that with the pattern I already showed you, right? Down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down. Okay, so that's basically what you get when you take the initial pattern I showed you and you add the percussive hits. It'll take some practice to do, but the next and final thing you want to do is the following, right? we're going to bring in a couple things here. One is constant motion with our right hand. So I already kind of talked about that earlier, but we're going to kind of sneak in a few brushy strums here and there between strums, okay? And at the same time, we're going to bring in this technique with our left hand where for some of the chords, we keep our hand in the shape after we strum it to keep it pushed down, keep the chord ringing out, right? But for other strums, we're going to release our left hand kind of immediately. You hear, obviously, hopefully you heard that, the sound goes away. Now, if I was to keep my hand pushed down, it's like sustaining, right? It's like a pedal on a piano. You play whatever you note on a piano with your pedal down, it's just going to keep on going. But if you were to, on a guitar, we can sort of immediately silence the strings by just depressing from the fretboard. Our strings are still touching the fingers, but we're not pushing down to the actual fretboard itself, okay? So we're going to use that. Now, how are we going to use that? There's two chords I want you to pay attention to. The first down strum is one we're going to let ring out, okay? But then after we do that 2 count chop, we're going to depress our left hand, right? And then in the next part, there's 3 up strums in a row. Our second up strum, we want to sustain that one. But the up strum that came before it, we want it to be short and punchy. Okay, so check this out. Okay, and then the final tip as part of this last sequence is we want to add these muted down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up in those gaps, right? I sort of note them out here. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, again, those muted strums, I'm sort of just having my fingers on the strings, but I'm not pushing down, but I'm still getting this sort of muted sound. If you listen to Jack Johnson play this, you can hear it. I have one video where he played it live on Zach Galifianakis's late night show that I didn't know exists, but this is from 2002, so the album had just come out, and it's just Jack Johnson solo. And I love watching that because you kind of see how it looks when he plays these by himself. And what I love about his music is, and from my understanding about him with music, like he was a surfer. I think music was always like not the driving part of his life, but you get the idea, and maybe I'm sort of mixing in stories here, that, you know, he's playing this in backyards or just with friends and stuff. So if you're doing that with a solo acoustic guitar, you kind of have to be your own rhythm section and add your own percussive hits, right? You don't have the benefit of a full band. So I think so much of that first album, you get this strumming pattern, because these are probably a lot of the first songs he wrote. That's what I'm guessing here, okay? So that's how you're going to play it, and then let's see how it sounds when we put it all together. So I'll play the intro, and then the first verse, and then the first chorus, and then we can see how that sounds. And at the end, I'll talk about the ending of the song as well. I know she says it's alright. You can make it up next time. I know she thinks it's not right. There ain't no use in lying. Maybe she thinks I know something. Maybe she thinks it's fine. Maybe she knows something I don't. I'm so tired
Oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way. 'Cause no one likes to be let down. Okay, so that's how it all sounds. It is a workout to play this song. I'm using my travel size guitar here, partially because it has Hawaiian wood, which I believe is from Hawaii, where Jack Johnson's from. So, but also because it's easier to play these bar chords and stuff on this smaller guitar. But even with this, my hand is like, oh, it's just kind of, it's a lot. I'm not in the sort of guitar shape of playing bar chords this often. So I'm just letting you know it's tricky. Now, really quick, let me talk about the ending to this song. It changes the groove entirely. It kind of goes to, it still uses F, B flat and C, but it's going to switch to, in the album version, a minor pentatonic scale. You hear Ben Harper doing slide guitar on top of Jack Johnson's sort of double time rhythm, right? The mood, the groove, the whole vibe changes. Now, as far as how to play it, it's just 3 different sort of sections that repeat, right? And it's all the F, the B flat, and the C. The really quick explanation is we're going to start off on F, right? Now, as far as the order of the chords, we're always going to start with F, right? The harder that you try, baby, the further you'll fall. Then we go to our B flat before we go back to F. Even with all the money in the C, whole wide world. Then go back to F. Please, please, please don't pass me. B flat. Please, please, please don't pass me. Then we're going to go to C. Please, please, please don't pass me by. Right? So this is a tricky one to sing. I think it's almost like the album version of the song minimizes the acoustic major or minorness. It almost has a bluesy vibe, where it's almost like 7th chords, right? And I think these chord changes are really hard to hear in the album version. The harder that you try, baby, the further you'll fall. Even with all the money in the whole wide world. Please, please, please don't leave me. Please, please, please don't pass me. Please, please, please don't pass me by. Everything you know about me, baby, you're gonna have to change. Gonna have to call me by a brand new name. Please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me down. Okay, so that's all you're gonna need for that. If you can get a buddy to play amazing slide guitar like Ben Harper's doing, use the minor pentatonic here, you'll be in good shape. So that's what we're gonna need for Flake. To show you, I showed you how the chord shapes work, I showed you the progressions and how to strum it like Jack Johnson there. Now, as a tease for the part 2 of this lesson, part 2, you can watch it all over on my website. But what I'm gonna show you is how, instead of using F and B flat and C, we can put a capo on, and we're gonna use the same chords as far as their relationship in the key, right? But instead of the F being our 1, our C is going to be our 1. And we're going to use this sort of middle 4-string version as our F, which becomes our 4 chord. And then our G becomes a 5 chord, right? And even the D minor, that just becomes an A minor, right? That's our minor 6. And then the A in the previous version, which is our major 3rd, is going to become an E major. I love going from A minor to E major because the shapes are the same. But what I'm going to show you in that other video is how you can play the song like this, right? I know she says it's alright. You can make it up next time. I know she thinks it's not right. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm so tired of trying. It seems to me that maybe pretty much always means no. So don't tell me, you might just let it go. And oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way. 'Cause no one likes to be let down. Okay, so that's waiting for you over my website. Get the link in the description, and you can find that there. So my friends, I hope this is helpful for you. Again, check out part 2 on my website. And if you want to get the song sheet and just follow along with the carefully formatted lyrics all on page 1 here,
Looks like this, really great stuff, and it has a few additional notes and tabs on the following page as well. But check that out over on my website, or just get the link in the description of this video. But hope you're in a good place with your guitar playing. Let me know what you're up to, what songs you're trying to learn, any questions you have, and if there's any other Jack Johnson or similar vibing songs you want to hear lessons for, let me know. But until the next one, my friend, I'll see you. Take care, and bye-bye.